Good evening, Lizzie boys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking yet another sort of casual look at some Monster High bootlegs. This is, again, one of my favorite topics to discuss on this channel, and every now and then I go a couple months without talking about them, but after my video last week where I talked about bootlegs, I'm in the mood to do it again, so I did some digging, as well as pulled out some of my own bootlegs to discuss in this video. I own 3 Monster High bootlegs, and we will talk about those first, and then move on to some ones that I found on Google. So, yeah, with that said, let's dive right in. So starting off with some bootlegs that I own myself, I have these 3 that I got from the same vendor that I typically buy Monster High dolls from at the flea market. He's been there for years. I got my Scara and Hoodooed from him, but yeah, this guy just had some Monster High bootlegs in his store, and I bought them because they caught my eye. They were interesting, and they were like roughly $1 each, so I figured I'd take a look. So I have 2 Draculaura looking bootlegs who have pretty different faces, all things considered, and different colors in their hair, making me think that the one with the purple streaks is maybe intended to be an Elizabeth bootleg, whereas the one with the pink in her hair is obviously more of a Draculaura bootleg. And then I also have this Claudine. These 3 are weird to me because their heads are different sizes. Like, Claudine's head almost looks like an actual Claudine. They got the lips pretty accurate, the eyes are pretty similar, not gonna lie. Not exactly the same, like the original doll obviously looks a lot better, but I do feel like there is some level of similarity between these 2 screenings specifically, which is why I grabbed that sweet 1600 Claudine for this comparison photo. This doll's head is smaller than the others, and she's also wearing a little white fur shawl. These dolls, by the way, are like totally bald. I didn't take any pictures of their hairlines, but oof, it doesn't look good. That's the way these dolls are. They're cheaply made, and I honestly don't recommend picking them up ever, unless you want to use their parts for like a customization project or something. But yeah, these ones are especially odd because they're on sort of bootleg Bratz bodies. Their hands look like Bratz hands, their arms look like Bratz arms, and their bodies overall are Bratz bodies. But the legs are different. They're almost like Barbie legs in a weird way. I don't know, but they don't have the peg feet. So yeah, super weird bootlegs. They're cool to own, I guess. I found this one on DeviantArt, and this one catches my eye because of how strange it looks. The box is very unique. You've got Monster High up in the corner, you got a bunch of flower stickers everywhere. There's 2 different stickers in the box saying, "Take me home." This doll really wants you to buy it. You got artwork of Draculaura in 2 different places and Nephra, of all people, on the front of the box. You've also got Fashion Doll. Many color a lot selected freely by you. Yeah, when I saw this thing, I thought it looked kind of similar to a Mattel Winx doll. I don't know why I thought that, but the head is very small. Like, the head's super small, and the body looks like standard Monster High body size, but yeah, unfortunately I couldn't find any more pictures of this specific bootleg. I wanted to see if there was some in the back of the box, but I couldn't find anything. But yeah, this one's interesting. I wanted to include it in this video. I also came across these bootlegs that look very similar to the ones that I have, with the bootleg Bratz bodies and the very thin, almost chicken-looking legs, you know, like chicken legs. That's what you say when they're thin, right? I don't know. But they look very similar. They've got the weirdly printed faces, they've got the poorly made dresses, and the bizarre proportions of the body. So I'm thinking that these bootlegs are, you know, like maybe made by the same bootlegger, same bootleg manufacturer. I'm not actually sure. But, yeah, the boxes are fun. The text says, "Popular trend best in beauty, Monster Comic lip gloss set," which I don't see any lip gloss in there, so I think that might be false advertising. These sets are a bit more hard to read, and they say Monster High on them, and actually use the Monster High logo, which, you know, they got balls for that, because these bootlegs use a fake logo and say Monster Girl. So I'm thinking these ones probably got sued by Mattel. Probably. Also, I'm not even going to acknowledge the one on the left because I don't know what to say about that. It looks like some kind of weird combination of Claudine and Cleo. Very strange. Another very common type of bootleg that I see are these ones where they try to put a Monster High head on a Barbie body. And it always ends up looking super uncanny and strange. This one specifically seems to be a bootleg intended for Spanish-speaking countries because there's lots of Spanish phrases on the box. The title down there says Chica Tonta, which means silly girl. Not gonna lie, growing up, I always thought tonta meant like stupid, dumbass, because that's how my family uses it. But when you punch it into Google Translate, it says silly, so I'm gonna hope that's what they were intending by it, because it'd be really funny if they were just calling this doll an idiot, just for no reason. The head also looks noticeably smaller than a Monster High head should be, which, again, a little goofy. And, yeah, I don't know. These dolls always have very cheap paper-white clothing, and this one comes with, like, 3 dresses of the same quality, so... We're just gonna move on to this one, which is particularly interesting to me because this one seems to be more recent, based on the Poopsie Slime Surprise bootlegs alongside it. So this one is very strange. We've got artwork of Haunted Twyla, which I think is fan art. I don't think that's an official illustration. It says Spectre High, Fashion Girl, and yep, some kind of weird combination between Cleo and Frankie. This is the Clanky fan kid. That's what it is, guys. Clanky had a child to get... Where did the picture go? That was weird. Anyway, this one just caught my eye because of the Poopsie bootlegs next to it. That means that this one is probably pretty recent. I don't remember when Poopsie came out, but I know it was around in, like, 2019 when Rainbow High released. Is that when Rainbow High came out? Jesus Christ, it's been 5 years. I also found these bizarre fakes that somewhat look convincing, some of them more so than others. Like Frankie, Rochelle, Claudine, Draculaura, and who the fuck is that one in the corner? I don't even know. It looks like some kind of combination between Ghoulia and Spectra. Those ones you can tell are fake. But then you've got the operetta. They didn't do a bad job with the fake operetta. Something about her almost works. Like, she almost looks a little convincing, and it's surprising. These ones are called Masa Dance Dolls, or that's a backward N. NASA Dance Dolls? Very weird. They all say cool design, and they come with a thing of fake nails. And they all have a picture of the of the dead, tired sleepover image. Yeah, I don't know. Of all the ones in this image, Operetta looks the best. I'd say Rochelle, the bootleg Rochelle, is the second best, even though she clearly has a Draculaura heart on her cheek, meaning that it's just a bootleg Draculaura that they dressed up like Rochelle. But yeah, I can give credit where credit's due. They actually recreated Operetta pretty well. This, like, genre of bootlegs that almost look convincing is particularly interesting to me, because I want to own one of them. Like, you see that bootleg of Forbidden Love Draculaura? I want that one. It almost looks right, you know? And you can tell that 3-pack in the middle is supposed to be the Dot Dead Gorgeous 3-pack. They did a decent job recreating Abby's dress, as well as Ghoulia's. But then you got Draculaura in her Sweet 1600 dress. Which, again, the Sweet 1600 dress doesn't look bad. And then you've got a dance class operetta down in the bottom row. You've got Sweet 1600 Frankie in a dance class box. They put a first edition Claudine bootleg in a dance class box. These ones are just interesting to me. I want to know if anybody has one of these. Because again, they look so convincing, almost, for a bootleg, you know? I'm not saying they look one-to-one with the dolls they're ripping off, but they look pretty similar. And that interests me, you know? I was able to find this close-up of 3 of this brand's bootlegs, and yeah, the Sweet 1600 Frankie looks pretty decent. It's just the face that looks off, and they also forgot her body stitches, obviously. And obviously none of the shoes are exact. That's the only place they seem to have fumbled. The Ghoulia looks really convincing. Again, she almost looks exactly like the actual physical dedication Ghoulia, and they did a good job, like, genuinely not a bad job, recreating Forbidden Love Draculaura's dress. Obviously some things are missing, like the buttons. They didn't give her the polka dots on her stockings, but, like, it's surprising that they actually put that much effort in to recreating these dolls. Again, what we're used to is stuff like this, and especially stuff like this. So needless to say, seeing a bootleg that actually tries this hard is more than just a bit surprising. I also found these weird dolls that I honestly kind of want to do some kind of deep dive into, because I kind of want one. They're called Maze Girls, and they're very obviously Monster High inspired with the fantasy skin tones and the gothic fashion. I'd say that's something Monster High popularized in doll lines, because like, you had lines like Barbie doing fantasy skin tones before, but they weren't explicitly monster themed, whereas these ones feel monster themed, you know? Like, they've got fangs painted on their mouths, they come with weird little pets similar to the Monster High dolls. Like, it's pretty obvious what the inspiration for these dolls were. And there's a lot of them. Like, I found this one that seems to be the Cleo of the line. I'm calling the blue one Laguna and the pink one Draculaura for obvious reasons. But it seems like this Maze Girls line wasn't sold in the US, because every website I was finding them on was in Russian. Like, they were all in Russian for some reason. Every website that I found these on during my search was in Russian. I might try to do some more research into these because, again, they're interesting and I kind of want one. If I had to pick one of the ones that I've seen so far, I think the one I would want most is the Laguna for those devious brows. Like, she looks evil. She looks like she's plotting something. I want her. There's also some budget Maze Girls set, which seems to include an Abby character, maybe, as well as the Draculaura character wearing pink now, which she looks better in than the red. The red was okay, but the pink, I would say, works better for her. And they reuse the pets, they reuse a lot of stuff. Obviously, this was a very low budget effort, but yeah, there's a lot of these Maze Girl dolls, and again, I want to find one. I will do whatever I need to find one. For our final bootleg of this video, I wanted to bring up this really weird Nephra. So, for one, she has Claw Venus's skin tone. Like, she looks like that odd combination of brown and green that they created for Claw Venus to me. That's what she looks like. But other than that, she looks convincing. Like, again, it's the same thing with the bootlegs I talked about earlier with these ones. The doll almost works. And this is that NASA Dance Dolls line, the one with that operetta that almost looked like the real thing. I don't know. It's just that the headpiece is too big, the skin tone's wrong, she's not on the big sister body, but they recreated everything else very closely. And it's just super bizarre to me that these bootleg companies, some of them, were willing to put in this much effort. So anyway, I think we've covered more than enough in this video. I really love talking about bootlegs, and there's always so many new ones to discuss. Like, every time I look up Monster High bootlegs, Monster High fakes on Google, I just scroll around for like 5 minutes and I find like 30 new ones that I've never seen before. So it's always fun to look into this topic. Let me know what you guys think of videos like this, if you enjoy them or not, and if you would like to see me do a deep dive into a specific bootleg brand, let me know. I've never done a proper deep dive before, but I really want to. That's the kind of content that really interests me to watch, so I think I would like to make it as well. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!